Throughout the history of motion pictures, there have been many big dog stars. Toto had a big adventure. Petey had a big appetite. Rin Tin Tin was a big hero. And Lassie had a big heart.
You've come back!
But now, Ivan Reitman, who brought you Ghostbusters, Kindergarten Cop, and Twins, proudly presents the biggest dog star of them all. You! Beethoven. No! Wherever there's trouble, wherever there's danger,
Oh my gosh, Emily's in the pool!
wherever there's food,
Mutt?
Oh, I just love these big dumb animals.
look who's coming to the rescue.
Whoa! Dad!
Honey.
With a little help from his friends.
Sick the boys!
Really, hon, I never found you more attractive.
We're going in!
It's not even Saturday night. Well, she drive me crazy.
George? Who are you talking to?
Charles Grodin. Beethoven.
Hello, I'm Katie and welcome to Retromade, your pop culture rewind. Today we're digging into the 1992 family comedy Beethoven. I bet you never realized that it was written by John Hughes, did ya? We'll talk about the oddly dark plot, plot, and its surprising box office success to unpack why this messy movie somehow became a staple of early 90s kid culture. If you listen to the Rocky series podcast, One More Round, my guest today will sound very familiar. If not, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Kyle, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, if you're not listening to that podcast, get your life together. What are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah. Now, why should they get their life together and listen to One More Round? Got any gems for why they should tune in?
Well, it's mostly because of Ryan. He's the best. We suck. So we'll try and put a show together still with just the two of us, but
it's true.
Yeah, I think we're a good team on that podcast. We all bring something different to the table. And if you're a nerd at all about the Rocky films, you can watch us dissect everything. But even if you're not, like I think we've had some converts to the cause, which is surprising given that I just figured everyone's seen Rocky. But yeah, we've brought people into the fold and they like Rocky. So even if you haven't seen Rocky, give it a chance.
Agreed. And if you haven't seen Rocky, watch Rocky. It's great. Okay, we're going to get right to the Retromade time capsule. Are you ready to spin, Kyle? Let's see what kind of a category we can ask some trivia questions for Kyle. We have Big Screen Time Machine.
Okay, whatever that is.
Well, I mean, you can kind of tell. It's basically the top 5 movies at the box office for 1992, the whole year.
Oh, man, 1982, that's hard because I feel like 94 or 93, I'd be good at that. But 92, I don't know.
Well, I'll give you hints then.
Okay,
there are 5 films.
right.
In a single cinematic year, audiences flocked to see a street-smart shapeshifter, It's kind of a run-on clue. Like it basically gives a hint for each movie. So I can pause
okay.
there. Street
Okay,
smart
I was-
shapeshifter.
Shapeshifter.
I
I'm
know
thinking
that's-
Terminator 2 Judgment Day, but that was 91, I think.
It is animated.
Oh, Street Smart Shapeshifter. Animated. I should know this. This would have been my jam as a kid. I was like 8 when in 1982.
The shapeshifter, I will say, is probably throwing you off, but technically it is.
Jeez, I don't know.
Aladdin.
Aladdin. Oh, man.
The genie. Yeah.
Yeah. Street Smart. That threw me off too. I wouldn't have characterized Aladdin as street smart, but maybe I just...
The genie, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. A pop icon turned protector. That's your clue.
God, I suck so bad. Oh, this is embarrassing. Pop icon turned protector. Do you have any hints for me other than that?
Big song that year. If I give you the names of the people, it will give it away.
Oh. Oh. I still don't know.
Whitney Houston,
Yeah, well, I know that, but I still
Okay.
don't know what the movie would be.
The Bodyguard.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, really? Great
Yeah.
soundtrack, too. Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. Okay. You'll probably know this one. A Solo Child in the Big City.
Oh, was it Home Alone 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lost in New York. Yep.
Wow, so they did. That was a really quick sequel. I thought it was like a little bit later they did that one, but... Because I think the first Home Alone was like 1990 or 91.
Yep. 90, I think.
Makes sense because he
Yeah.
was still quite young looking.
Mhm.
Like he doesn't look like he aged from the two films really. So
They
yeah,
really
that does
wanted
make
to
sense.
capitalize quickly. All right, the number 4, a sultry ice pick wielding suspect.
Ice pick wielding suspect. Sultry.
Very famous scene when this person gets interrogated.
Oh, Basic Instinct.
Mm-hmm.
You see her
Mm-hmm.
kitty cat, so
Yeah.
to speak.
And then the
Yeah.
last one is a sequel. A pair of mismatched cops chasing gun runners.
Oh, would that be Lethal Weapon?
Which one?
Oh, 2? Is it
3.
Oh,
Lethal Weapon 3.
Oh,
This
shoot.
is in the 90s, right? So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I watched those, but it's like I was 8 in 1992, so it was not that. Honestly, 94 I would do way better at. There were so many good films that came out in 94, like 93, 94, like Jurassic Park, Forrest Gump, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, the mid 90s really has its own identity for sure.
Yeah.
Now we're still in the early 90s, so it's and
Yeah, like-
agreed. I honestly don't know if I've seen Lethal Weapon 3 either.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember loving those as a kid, which is funny that my parents let me watch that because there's like lots of like nudity and violence.
They're like, whatever, kid.
Yeah,
All right,
my
well-
parents like were pretty chill. Like I saw Terminator 2 Judgment Day when I was 7, and I'm like, those 7-year-olds should watch that.
I don't even remember that movie. I'm sure I've seen it, but I couldn't tell you.
Just like
Anything about
extremely graphic violence, I guess. Lots of swearing. Like you see like a nuclear bomb destroy a playground full of kids. Like like pretty fucked up stuff.
Yeah, parenting was different back in the day, I guess.
Plus it was my dad too. My dad was just like, my dad didn't have the best judgment. I'll say that. Because I think a
Okay.
lot of parents back then would not have let their 7-year-olds watch that. But I do agree with you though. Parenting, like for instance, in 1992, I was going home alone after school to an empty house because my parents were working.
Mhm.
Like I had a shoelace around my neck with the house key on it. And I was not the only one doing that. Where it's like nowadays you would never see that.
Yeah, that was very commonplace. Yeah, ours was hidden in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And I remember getting my snack, watching TV after that's
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like you certainly didn't crack open your homework right away or anything.
Oh God, no. I've always been a procrastinator. All right, Kyle, I don't think you did very good. Let's see what other category we
Yeah,
can-
I need to redeem myself.
you do. You'll probably be pretty good at this one. Prime time rewind.
Oh, okay. Is this like TV stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I think I do better on TV than I do
Mhm.
movies.
Okay, so this is the top 5 TV shows
Okay.
on prime
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
for the year 1992. In a year when ticking clocks set the pace, a sharp-tongued matriarch ruled the Midwest, a fictional journalist tackled real-world issues, a Boston bar remained the go-to spot for regulars.
Oh, so this is like, okay. So these are like all of them. I thought it was like a single show with these. Like, what
No.
the fuck? Kind of like, what
No,
show
it's
is
all
this?
it's all of
Yeah.
them. And a
Yeah, I think
handyman
I-
with more power tools than sense grunts his way to fame.
Oh,
What were the top
God,
5
yeah.
shows?
Okay, sorry. Could we just do one at a time? Because I don't know if I can remember. all
Yes,
of them.
but then it's so easy. It's too easy
Okay,
that
could
way.
you just-
But
could
yes,
you repeat it?
ticking clocks set the pace.
Okay,
What's that one?
that was the one I wasn't sure about. I'll go back to that one.
Okay. Sharp-tongued matriarch ruled the Midwest.
Oh, is it Roseanne?
Yes, that's number
Yeah.
2. Number 3 is a fictional journalist tackled real-world issues. This might be tough.
Yeah. Was it Murphy Brown?
It was Murphy Brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a Boston bar remained the go-to spot for regulars.
Cheers. I've been to
And-
Cheers, like in Boston.
Oh, yeah?
Even though I think it was actually filmed in LA, but you know, they show the shot of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually just
real-
off Boston Common, like their like park area where their state house is.
I did not go to the Cheers bar. I've only been to Boston once, though.
Nice city. I recommend it.
Yeah, yeah. What was the handyman with power tools?
Oh, Home Improvement.
Okay, so do you know what the ticking clock one? This was an
Okay.
hour-long show.
Okay. Ticking clock. What was it
It is
again?
the ticking clock set the pace.
Is it 60 minutes?
It is. That's the number
Yeah,
1
okay.
show.
There we
60
go.
minutes.
TV.
Good job.
That's it. Yeah, where it
Okay.
raises you. When the TV raises you,
Yes.
you remember the shows. The movies, not so much. Movies was a treat, but yeah, I remember TV
I
back
agree.
then.
I agree. And it was more regular, like you watched them all the time.
Yeah.
All right, let's
It's
do another
funny,
one.
like some of these shows I watched as a kid, like Cheers. Like my daughter would never watch Cheers.
It's very adult. I don't
Yeah.
remember loving it as a kid. It made me sad. The theme song.
Oh, I always thought like the art stuff on the theme song was really cool. I really liked the theme song as a kid, actually.
I like it now, but it gave me a homesick feeling when I was a kid.
Oh, there's a line in that song that's not in the show. Because the show's talking about like your problems.
Mm-hmm.
And one is like your wife leaves you. The other one is your husband wants to be a girl, like transitioning. Yeah.
What? I missed that completely.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a great listen to the full song. It's quite good.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm due for some just like easy watching stuff like that, like mindless. I'll have to like
Yeah.
rewatch some 80s shows. Okay, I don't know how you're going to do with this category. It is fad flashback.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
There's 2. One's super easy and one's not so easy. Okay. Athletic footwear that was popularized in the early 90s, especially by Michael Jordan.
Oh, like Air Jordans?
Air Jordans, yep.
Yeah.
92.
Do you remember you know what I was thinking of before you said Michael Jordan? Do you remember the pump shoes, which on the tongue of the shoe had it looked like a little basketball and you'd pump it up? I think
Very
that was
much
around
so.
the same time.
Very much so. It was in White Men Can't Jump.
I'm curious if can Kyle come out to play? What is that? Back in the headlines. Oh, so like current events?
Well, current in the time.
At the time.
Yeah. Big news. Okay, you'll get these are pretty easy. Okay. Despite Rocky's best efforts, it was actually Bush and Yeltsin who did what? 92.
Oh, Bush and Yeltsin. Is it like a arms reduction or something like that? I don't know.
No, you did you pick up on the first bit of it?
Well, the Rocky thing, it's like negotiate peace or something.
The joke is always that Rocky ended the Cold War.
Oh, yeah, but the Cold War was over by 92. That's
I
what
guess
was...
not officially. They proclaimed a formal end to the Cold War.
Okay. shit.
Like it didn't formally end until 92,
See,
I guess.
I didn't, since I wasn't I was around, I wouldn't be reading stuff. In my mind, I always just assumed that when the Soviet Union collapsed, like by default, the Cold War would be over.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
Yeah, I guess in 92, those two, Bush and Yeltsin,
Yeah, I guess it's like the year after the Soviet Union collapsed.
formally proclaimed an end to the Cold War. Also in 1992, the U.S. Supreme Court reaffirms your right to something. And the hint is after 50 years, that right got taken away. What right was it?
50 years. Okay, I was going to say right to choose.
Yeah, your right to have an abortion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in 92, the Supreme Court, it must have come up to them and they reaffirmed it.
Yeah.
And then, what was it, 70? I should know this. Early 70s.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, but I thought you were saying like 50 years later it was repealed. Oh my God, it hasn't been 50 years.
Since the original, though.
Oh, since the original. Okay,
since the
so I was thinking
70s,
since
yeah.
92, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do one more. I love doing
Okay.
shit like this.
Say what? So, which 1992 catchphrase used to describe something that's considered impressive or superior was frequently paired with a popular snack in its expression?
All that in a bag of chips?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What a weird catchphrase. It's all that in a bag
I
of
remember
chips.
Austin Powers 2, Dr. Evil, who had been frozen for since 69, came back in the 90s. And then he goes back to the 60s to extort the world, knowing what he knows in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking to the president. He's like, "You're not all that in a bag of potato chips."
That's right.
And he's like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Oh my God. Also, Austin Powers, or is that Austin Powers or Dr. Evil?
Yeah. Austin Powers. Like
That
Dr.
speaks
Evil
that.
says it, but he's the character in Austin Powers.
Yeah. Well, either way, that character and your Donald Trump are the same.
Oh. I disagree. Totally different.
Okay. All right. Well, you did pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, not bad. That would be such a youngin at that time, right?
Yes. Agreed.
Because you would have been like 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like when I was 11, I knew a lot more about what was going on around me. Still not like adult level, but
I don't think I would have done much better than you. I would have done about the same.
that makes you feel better.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kyle, are you a John Hughes movie fan, or what's your history with John Hughes movies?
What are the John Hughes movies?
Well,
I'm really bad with like directors and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, it
Unless
would
it's,
be like The
major.
Breakfast Club, Weird Science,
Oh,
Home
okay,
Alone,
yeah.
Home Alone 2,
Okay, yeah.
Uncle Buck.
I love them. Like Weird Science, I don't know if you've seen that, but I love Breakfast Club a lot. Even though I saw that, I was born the year that movie came out, so I did not see that in the theater, but I really like that film because it's so weird, right? Like such a weird movie, but in a great way. Like what a good idea.
It's my favorite.
Is it your actual favorite movie?
Well, no, my favorite John Hughes movie.
Oh, okay.
But The Breakfast Club is in my top, 10 or whatever. It is. It's very much up there.
Speaking of The Breakfast Club, I just saw an image, I think it's like on Reddit or somewhere, where they had a reunion of all the people together for The Breakfast Club, like this like weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
They're all looking pretty good.
I agree. I think Amelia looks the best.
Sure.
Like aging. Ali Sheedy looks pretty good too. But
I was raised on like Uncle Buck and Home Alone in those films. Yeah, no, that was like the backbone of my childhood movie experiences for sure.
What about Beethoven? Did you see that when it came out originally?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't remember most of the film when I watched it again this week, But there were definitely like memories that came back to me as I was watching it. And you could almost feel like you were a kid again for a little bit of it. And just, in general, I have to say, because I watched the movie with my wife and my 12-year-old, and we don't watch movies as a family that often, I realized.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my family growing up, like watching a movie together was like basically what you did on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like a Friday night, like you make it a blockbuster night.
Make popcorn. It's like a whole thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And it's like nowadays it's like everyone has their phone and like you stream stuff, but it's like movies are so easily accessible for the most part, unless they like just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like you had your collection of VHS tapes at home, which you've seen 1,000 times, that you weren't going to watch on a Friday night, probably, unless you were desperate. And then you probably got something for Blockbuster if you got there early enough to actually get the new release. And that was like a rush. And yeah, it made me nostalgic and really miss family movie day.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, Blockbuster was like a whole separate destination. I remember there being a lot of just little video stores like inside of a grocery store. So like on your way out from getting groceries. That's
really?
I remember us doing that. Yeah, I would go to the grocery store with my mom, like on a Friday or Saturday. And then I'd be like, oh, can we get a movie? Can we get a movie?
Now that you say that, I remember as a kid, convenience stores, some of them would have a little rotating circular thing with probably a couple dozen movies on it.
Yeah.
And you could rent it from like the logo, like the corner store, which is like never going to happen now.
No.
Shit. Yeah. Like we had in our town, there was Blockbuster came in. And then before that, we had this like huge video store called Jumbo Video. And they gave you free popcorn. Like they had like a movie theater kind of popcorn maker there.
While you were like perusing?
Yeah.
Or
you could take one on your way out. And in fact, when my wife and I got married in 2008, it was like one of the last movie rental places still around in the city was called the Movie Studio. And they also had free popcorn there. And that's like my wife and I used to rent DVDs and just watch them at home. And man, I miss that. I'm really, really nostalgic for that.
It was like the hunt,
Yeah, exactly.
Like you'd spend forever walking through and you'd get more than one. You'd get like whatever the new release was. And then you'd be like, okay, then the ones that aren't new releases, there'd be like $1 bin. These ones are only $1.
Yeah, and you could like either like bring it back next week. And the new releases is like bring it back by Sunday or you're dead. We'll find the shit out of you.
I mean, yeah, video stores. All right, well, speaking of which, let's get into Beethoven. It was released April 3rd, 1992, PG. It has a 5.7 on IMDb, which is exactly the same as another John Hughes written movie, Dennis the Menace. Did you know that was John Hughes too?
I'm so bad for that. I'm a real shit guest when it comes to knowing.
No, most
like
people don't know
stuff.
that. Like these are like Beethoven, Dennis the Menace are ones that probably don't come to mind, like The Breakfast Club or Uncle Buck or Home Alone.
I did watch Dennis the Menace. I remember that because Walter Matthau was
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, at the time of this, Dennis the Menace was last episode. So it was just happenstance that 2 episodes in a row are kind of some of these like kid movies that he transitioned to after doing all those teen flicks, and that they had much lower ratings. The director was Brian Levant, and he wasn't actually the original director. He took over, I don't know what happened, but originally Steve Rash was supposed to direct. And he directed Can't Buy Me Love as well as Son-in-Law with Pauly Shore. But Brian Levant, who did direct this movie, which that doesn't sound very familiar to me, but he did The Flintstones in 94, Problem Child 2, and Jingle All the Way in 1996. So John Hughes did not direct this, but he did write it. But this is the first movie that we see his pseudonym pop up. Did you know about
Katie,
this?
if you ever do Problem Child on this show, please have me as a guest for that one.
I vaguely remember it. Was it a redheaded
Yeah, he was
brat
such a little shit. And
John Ritter? Or
yes, that was
okay.
the dad. And I actually referenced that movie just this week at work, actually in the lunchroom. It was a scene where he pisses in a lemonade jug and sells it to a guy who remarks that it's
shit.
tangy after he drinks.
Oh, gross. God. Oh my God. Well, I don't know. It may pop up on, some future season. I don't know. I don't know how Problem Child will come in. My themes that I have. So yeah, Amy Holden Jones and John Hughes wrote this movie. Amy Holden Jones also wrote Indecent Proposal and Mystic Pizza, one of my favorite movies. It was Julia Roberts' first movie role. It's
Mystic
good.
Pizza?
It's really good.
Oh, okay.
Lily Taylor is in it.
She could probably fit the entire pie in her mouth in one bite, probably, I would guess.
Stop.
Just messing with it.
I love Julia Roberts.
I like her too.
But no, you got to watch Mystic Pizza. It's so good. It's such a great movie. But also Amy Holden Jones, there's a current show that she wrote or that she writes on, The Resident. I don't watch that, but anyway, I did find really interesting that several of these later John Hughes movies that aren't really his bread and butter, he wrote under a pseudonym. And so I was like, well, what's that all about? It's Edmond Dantes. So he's credited with that name instead of John Hughes for his writing credit. And he came up with it as an homage to a character from The Count of Monte Cristo, which I do not recall. But he parted ways with the studio, Universal, after Beethoven. And he didn't really want to be on it anymore. Like something must have happened. And he wanted to take his name off of it. But he allowed it to remain under the condition that his credit would be the pseudonym instead.
Yeah, that's what the kids would call sus these days.
Which kind of tracks, as we'll get into. I think like in a lot of the prior movies, he's had a lot of creative control with his, he didn't direct this, but even as a writer, a fair amount of control over the script. And I think some of these family movies that quality wasn't quite up to standards, maybe.
Honestly, just as I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here,
No, go ahead.
but watching this film, I'm like, you couldn't put this out today. If you put a film just like this, say you updated the clothing and cars and all that stuff, so it doesn't seem dated, but like the actual script was the same. No.
Well,
nope.
Well, so speaking of you guys, I did see this movie in the theater. I remember going probably a matinee, and what's not to love? It's a kid's movie about a really cute dog. So slobbering Saint Bernard becomes the center of attention.
I loved it as a kid. I remember I just remember like the feeling when you were asking like what film I wanted to be like reviewing with you, I saw Beethoven, like, oh yeah, I'll do that one. Even didn't remember like the details, like the feeling remained is like, I like this movie.
Same. And I remembered very little of it. But yeah.
Next to nothing. Yeah. I remembered like the characters. Like I remembered what like the daughter looked like in the son and all that stuff. And I remember the dog fucking up their house, like stuff like that. I remember, but like the actual plot, what's the adversity they're trying to overcome or whatever. I'm like,
So it's George and Alice Newton is the mom and dad, and they have 3 kids, and they have to contend with dog napping local veterinarian Dr. Herman Varnick and his henchmen Harvey and Vernon. That's what this movie's about, you guys. But like they're dog nappers.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to contend that they did not need to be in this film. You could take them out and just make it about these people got a dog that was a stray, and this dog is causing a bunch of problems, but then they actually realize the dog is also bringing them together as a family, and then they try and get rid of the dog and then regret it and then get the dog back.
Exactly.
But instead, They have those weird, convoluted villains that, like, you have these two idiots who are the henchmen.
Played by Oliver Platt and Stanley Tucci, might I add.
Yep. And then you have this, like, at the beginning, you have this vet, he's like, I need puppies. I'm like, you know what you could do? They sell puppies. You could buy them. Are you short on cash? Like, why are you stealing puppies? They're there. You could just go in and say, I need some puppies, please.
Well, I assume he's making money somehow on this venture, which we don't really find out. So it's like, okay, we open up and it's evil immediately. They are actually stealing puppies from a pet store, which that was some pretty high-tech security with laser beams at a pet store.
But these villains are not as dumb as they look. One puff of cigarette smoke and the laser beam is uncovered.
I thought that was,
but the cops were alerted to their presence anyway.
Yeah. Also, boo on pet stores, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Hashtag
exactly.
Adopt, don't
But
shop.
like, they're making fat. We find out later in the film, he's making fat stacks off whatever he's doing. Like, you see him putting money into the safe. There's like tens of thousands of dollars. So it's obviously very lucrative. It seems like the cost of the dog would not bite into the profit margin that much.
Also, if we're really thinking about this is what actual scumbags do, is they go and collect free to good home in classified ads.
Sure.
That's what they
Or
do.
what I was thinking too, because one of the things is, okay, we see needles later on that they're somehow syringes, like they're going to inject these animals for some kind of animal testing, which is done legally on animals to this day, right? Like companies, corporations do animal testing all the time. Some say they don't, but a lot do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, what they're trying to do with Beethoven is they're trying to see what this bullets if you shoot a dog in the head. And
it makes zero sense. Ammunition's testing that's why they needed a big dog.
Was it the military? Like, who is like?
Also, in real life, they actually do that. But sadly, this again, Katie, Miss Vegan over here, they use pigs because they're the same as us, essentially.
That's what I was going to suggest. Is okay.
Which you don't use animals for that. There are newer, better techniques to test these things.
I see stuff online where I'm not a huge gun person, but this is in my algorithm where they have this material that replicates human flesh, and it's almost like it's translucent, and they'll have a bone structure inside, so you can see like the damage the bullet does and stuff. So that's like what professional, because you think munitions companies wouldn't outsource their testing to some small town veterinarian.
Well,
who needs to find a St. Bernard to shoot in the head? You can go to, this is the coverage. Go to your local slaughterhouse and say, hey, do you have a couple pig heads I can have? They're probably like, sure, we have a bunch of these. Take it. And you can take your already killed pig, which I know sucks, Katie, I'm sorry, and shoot that thing. And then test it. Like,
well, first of all, it's like, they're dog napping. Okay. It's like, we find out in like pieces, like what they're actually doing. And it makes less sense as it goes on. Like at first we're like, oh, they're dog napping. They're going to sell them or whatever on the black market. Cute puppy. I steal it. I sell it for profit or whatever. Nope. That's not what they're doing with these dogs. Now we find out they're doing some sort of testing on them. We're like, okay, well, that's dumber, but it still sort of makes sense. And then lastly, we find out it's munitions test. Like it makes no sense.
I was stunned when I saw that. I was like, no wonder he put it under a pseudonym. Like, I wouldn't put my name on that. That is the stupidest plot line. I could not believe it. If I'm 8-year-old me, wouldn't care. That passes the smell test for 8-year-old me, so good enough, I guess.
I have that exact note. Were they just like, kids are dumb, so they'll be cool with it? Like,
it's like the parents aren't really here to see this movie. They're just here. If the kids are happy, the parents are happy. The kids are too stupid to care. And to be fair, if I remember right, this movie cost $18 million to make, and it grossed in the box office like $143 million or something.
$147.2 million. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
they were right. Kids are dumb. And this was like massively successful despite it being pretty shitty. There were 4 sequels and 3 standalone films. There was like a very quickly after this one, they did a Beethoven second, which was a theatrical release. And it was, cute. I think I saw it. It was like, now there's a girl dog and they have puppies, which don't do that either, people. And then there was sequels, direct to video films, Beethoven's Third, Beethoven's Fourth, Beethoven's Fifth, Beethoven's Big Break, Christmas Adventure, Treasure Trail,
Christ.
and an animated TV series.
I know this is a money-making business. Like, I'm not stupid. They're in here for the art, but I'm like, it is, to me, it's so disheartening. And I've said this on the other podcast, but it's so disheartening when they take something good or something like this, something decent, and then just try to milk every last penny out of it. And they're right, because people keep buying it. Apparently, they wouldn't make more sequels if they were losing money. But I feel this way with Star Wars and other stuff too, where I'm like, come on, like how long are we going to beat this dead horse? Like, to me, it almost ruins the other films.
I don't kind of agree. I wholeheartedly agree. It makes it icky just because my world doesn't revolve around like making an extra buck. Like, I will pay more to do the right thing. Shocking, but yeah. So it's gross. I don't know. I find it gross.
Yeah. Like, it's just greed. I guess if there's a buck to be made, someone's going to try and do it. That's just the way the world works. But I think at the end of the day, it's the consumer that's to blame. Because you make a choice with your wallet, right? Don't see Beethoven 5. If these things stop making money, they're not going to make more of them.
That's how I feel about like the MCU. But yeah, and similarly, adopt, don't shop, vote with your dollars, things like that. But you were right. Like, your very quick plot that you came up with was way better than this. Plus, we didn't even talk yet about, there is technically a subplot to this.
There's a few. There's a few little tiny plots, I think. Depends what you count as a subplot, but...
True. I mean, like, those evil, childless career people, that's like a common theme in these movies. And now I just laugh. It's like, they're so career-oriented. So anyway, what was that about? That was convoluted, too. Like, again... It was Patricia Heaton and David Duchovny are like these venture capitalists trying to bamboozle the dad.
Yeah, they make it seem that way. They never explain how. The dad has this air freshener business, which I guess is doing pretty well because I'm going to do a little sidetrack here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every family movie like this, people live in these, I feel like, are outrageously large homes.
Yes.
And like on this huge lot in like California, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I remember feeling so poor as a kid. I'm like, is this how everyone in America, like, I'm in Canada. I'm like, is this how like everyone in America lives? Are we just like super poor? And then I realized, oh, actually, no, this is just Hollywood. Or it's like Family Matters. It's like Carl Winslow's a cop and he has this huge house. I'm like, what the fuck? But anyways, they seem to be doing well as it is, right? Now, you could always do better. You expand your business to have 2 air freshener factories or whatever. And yeah, he needs some capital investment. He seems to sell them on the tour, and then they're trying to get him to sign this contract without reading it, which tells us that there's something fucked up in there, which for sure is how things work in a way, but in reality, he would have a lawyer that looks at that contract. Like, there's no way he's going to read that at like the dinner table and sign it, let alone not read it and sign it.
Does that B plot get resolved in some way?
Well,
aside from the dog pulling, with the patio.
Well, yes and no. My understanding is that the dog ruins the evening and these people bolt. And this guy's pissed off about it because the dog just ruined his chance to expand. Even though he doesn't realize the dog really saved him from
signing
something we don't know about because it doesn't tell us, right? We just assume that's the case because they're so shifty. And then there was the line after that where it's like, my dreams are falling apart. And she's like, well, you can have your dream, but it's your family that's falling apart. That like him doing this air freshener business thing is making his family fall apart, which doesn't really explain either, because it's not like, I don't feel like he was away that much or something for this. He's maybe kind of fixated on this air freshener deal, like talking about it at the breakfast table and being worried about it, and having those people demean his kids and be like, treat his wife like a servant and stuff. And he was kind of putting up with it to be polite, so the deal wouldn't fall through. I don't know if you would consider that your family falling apart. Like,
well, I think it was so the mom, played by Bonnie Hunt, I don't think she ordinarily goes to work, but this is such a big deal that she has to like go to work and help him with it for some period of time. And so then the kids have to be schlepped to a babysitter or something.
Where
and
like one of them almost dies.
Beethoven has to save the little girl from the pool. And
which he knows through his animal instincts.
From three houses down.
Yeah.
By the way.
He can maybe, with his dog hearing.
Yep.
His dog hearing could hear the scream and his animal instinct. I can just accept that. That's okay in the movie. I can suspend my disbelief for that. That's no big deal. So, like, my point, though, is I can kind of see their family having a rough time, but that doesn't actually seem that bad. It's like, oh, you've gone from a super idyllic thing where you have, like, the wife staying at home and the husband successful, and you have this nice little nuclear family, to where, the kids have to go to a babysitter. Like, you and I were just talking about being like latchkey kids.
God forbid. Well, and it's sort of like, again, it borrows from other movies that probably did it better, like Turner and Hooch. The dad never wants the dog.
Yeah.
The dog really, truly does bring the family together, but the dad can't see it because he's the one that has to pick up after it. And he is making a mess and drool. And then the dad gets blamed because the kids love the dog, and it's a whole, so I don't know if that was part of it.
Yeah, and it's like, I was really identifying with the dad at first. And my wife is like, wow, you're this guy. Because I was like, do not get that fucking dog. As much as I love dogs, I have a Shih Tzu at home. That's a good dog for our family. He's small. He's fairly lazy. He doesn't do a lot. He's good with kids.
Yeah.
That, St. Bernard is in your house dog. Bad idea. Like, we have my wife's cousins. They live out on a farm, and their St. Bernard's outside all the time. It loves life. But, like, having this St. Bernard cooped up in your house, I'm like, I would not do that. That, like, you're biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah, I'm like a giant breed dog person, though. Well, the problem is not him being so big. They kind of make it seem that way. It's that he's a puppy, and he's growing and being a puppy and a teenage dog, and he is just in a big body. So he would be cool if they just walked him and made him behave.
Well, the dad in me knows what's going to happen. It's both the dad and a former kid, where it's like the kids will make any promises they need to make to get that dog in the house.
Yep.
And then they'll fuck right off in like 2 weeks, and then the dad, who's already busy, is now on like shit patrol and walking patrol. And
exactly. So you identified with what's his face? George? Is it George? What was his name? George Newton. So it's George and Alice Newton. I mean, there's a meme about the dad, but you do end up falling in love with the dog you never wanted.
Yeah, there's no pure love exists between a man and the dog that he never wanted.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my dog and I didn't like, my dog kind of got like sprung on us, and I made like a spur of the moment decision to get him. And I initially regretted it because we had my daughter was 1.5 years. I think we had a young toddler around, and we have this puppy, and puppies are, as you know, like, they're a lot of work. I wouldn't say there's as much work as a new child, but there's still a lot of work.
Well, and you have a toddler and a puppy at the same time. That is a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, but it's worth it. Like, he's family. He's 11 now. Like,
he grew up with your daughter. That's so cute.
Oh yeah. My kids don't know life without that dog. He's been, they cannot remember life before him. So luckily little dogs live a long time. So But yeah, I was like, ooh, don't get this dog. Even though I love dogs and I think it's good for kids to have a dog. Like, I think it's good, or a pet. It doesn't have to be a dog. But
Yeah.
I think it's good that you're responsible for something and like looking after it and caring. I think it's good. It's not like essential. You don't have to, but I think it's nice. And I think there's like research to back that up. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this dog is wrecking their house, which they do that.
They certainly do. I gotta say though, and this is partially why kids love a dog. And Beethoven, the puppy version, I mean, even when he's not a puppy, but a little fluff ball. I mean, how could you not
so
fall in
cute.
love with that cute little fucker?
Yeah. So my family has a tradition of like the family I grew up in of getting pets without asking other family members if it's okay. Like just bringing home animals.
Okay.
Like,
how's that go over?
Pretty good. It works, to be honest. But it's like, what makes it work is that they're so cute.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, my parents got cats. So I talked to my sister and I, but of course we're thrilled. And then, without telling my dad, my mom and my sister and I got a dog. Like, he was a German Shepherd crossing the Border Collie. I think he was like 6 weeks old. And we brought him home, and my dad was like having a nap on the couch. And we put him on my dad's chest. And he licked my dad's face, and it woke my dad up. And my dad kind of like bonded with him right away, right? Like he charmed his way in right away. And then my dad did a revenge purchase of a different dog.
I love this. Oh my God.
And there's been a couple more of those over the years. So yes, animals, that does happen, and they're cute. And that's, I think, literally, like evolutionarily wise, that's why like infant, like young kids and babies are cute. Young animals are cute. It makes you not want to kill them.
Because you would otherwise. I say that to now granted, I have a dog, like they're not puppies, and kids outgrow their cuteness. But I guess by that time, you've bonded and you've already fallen in love. So it's too late.
Once they're like a hormonal teenager, the bond's already rock solid. So
yeah, but I say all the time, oh, you're lucky you're cute. When they're naughty. Speaking of which, there's a scene where Beethoven steals food. Was it like the Thanksgiving turkey or something? What was it?
Yeah, he steals a turkey leg. He's also a very altruistic dog where he gets baked goods from the bakery, not stealing, mind you, and then gives it to the homeless dog that he once kind of was connected to
from the
heist.
Pet theft ring.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, no dog would ever do that. That is not how dogs roll. Like the phrase "dog eat dog" is a thing, right?
But Beethoven's not starving. He doesn't need it, So in this,
dogs don't give a shit. They're like, I'm eating this anyways. They don't care. Like they don't look after each other like that. Especially if it's like not in their pack, right?
But in this universe, this child movie universe, of course,
it's totally fine. I'm poking fun. Like I know I have legit problems with the plot of shooting the dog in the head plot. Like that's fucking stupid.
That's easily solvable.
Which is also not that family friendly of a plot.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Yeah, whereas Beethoven giving like the cinnamon knot to that dog, that's cute. It's like unrealistic, but it's cute. It makes sense for a family movie. I'll allow it. And
agreed.
Yeah, there's also like little tiny subplots too, like the son getting bullied at school, which I don't think anything happens with that I remember. He just
Beethoven kind of stands behind him and intimidates the kids because he's a big intimidating dog, and it makes the kid think he was intimidating them.
That's right. Yeah, no, you're right. And then he also kind of plays matchmaker with the daughter who's named Rice. I don't get that name.
RYCE. Yeah. There are two things I recall from this movie. The fact that the oldest daughter's name was Rice.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
That's why I remember it, because it's so unusual. And, the corporate types and the patio chairs getting dragged off by Beethoven. That's literally all I remembered from this movie.
I remember when he shook off on the bed. I remember that part. But
that's from Turner and Hooch.
I think I kind of liked Rice as a kid, so I remember her. I remembered her quite a bit. But yeah, the dog plays some matchmaker, but you don't really see anything that happens with that other than like they know who she is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like the dog escapes during this is another weird plot where the dog like escapes the yard on the daily because everyone recognizes him. Like the baker recognizes him. They
He has
give
like a
him stuff.
routine.
He comes to the school. He doesn't seem to be noticed by anyone. Like he's kind of like a regular fixture around there.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are not surprised to see him. They're like, "Oh, hey, Beethoven." Imagine you're at school and your dog shows up without your parents. He's kind of doing his thing. Like he's moving, he's shaking, he's making things happen with the kids at school. So I guess they're not really subplots, but it just shows like the dog, he's earning his keep, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, and how he's so lovable. Like he's good for them. It's trying to drive that point home that he's a good thing in their lives. Well, let's talk about our family and the cast. So Charles Grodin plays the dad.
Yeah.
Did you recognize him from anything, Kyle?
You know what? I thought I did. I'm like, man, this guy's familiar. I looked him up. I always look people up on Wikipedia when I'm watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, these titles that they show, I'm like, I don't remember these movies.
But he looks familiar to you, doesn't he?
But he does, but I think I might be from this film.
Oh.
I just don't remember he.
Maybe. He was also, did you see Midnight Run with Bobby D?
No,
He was in
that's yeah, I don't think I did.
Yeah, he's got a lot of credits. He started in TV back in the 50s.
This is something I want to mention, actually, because I was surprised at how old he was
Mm-hmm.
and how young Bonnie Hunt is.
I was just going to, yes, yeah.
Like, he was born in 35 or 39, or like in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And she was born in 60 or 61. There's like a 25-year age gap between them.
There is. So he was 56 at the time of filming. She was 29. But it didn't look weird to me until I read that. Like I bought them as a couple because he looks
Same.
younger and she looks older. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. Exactly. It's funny too, like now that this movie's like 33 years old, the clothes she's wearing and the hairstyle she has
Makes her seem so like matronly.
makes her seem older in my view.
Agreed.
I
I
don't
bought
know,
him
like-
as like 42. Like I thought he
Yeah.
looked way younger than, which is unusual. We almost always say people look older, like back in the day. Like actors.
I was gonna say, like, I'm 41. I don't look anywhere near what he looks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's wild. I was reading about this age difference being a thing. It's interesting that I didn't blink twice when I was watching the movie. They didn't look weird to me together, even though he technically could be her dad.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
age-wise. So the director originally wanted a different actor that was closer in age to Charles because they must have cast him first. But then they, I guess, had the best chemistry. And he pointed out that, like, back in the day, Katharine Hepburn would always co-star with people super old, like Cary Grant and Fred Astaire, Humphrey Bogart, were her romantic interests. So he eventually agreed.
Yeah, you want someone around 40
Mhm.
in that role, given the kid's age, right?
Right.
Because I think Rice is in junior high.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think I remember thinking I was about her age. So she was probably like 11 or 12.
The
somewhere around
actress who I looked up on Wikipedia, fucking smoke show now.
Well, did you watch The Nanny? That's who she's.
Oh.
She's Maggie on The Nanny.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. I was like, she's been in other shit.
Mm-hmm. Maggie and The Nanny.
Yeah.
The oldest daughter in that show.
Yeah.
too.
Now that you say that, I'm like, of course that's her. But that was bugging me, actually. I didn't bother looking it up, mind you, but I just looked up on Wikipedia when I was watching. I was trying to find people's ages. It's like she's born in late 70s. So she's like a few years older than you, but she's close enough to your age. The middle son is actually just a year older than you.
And did you okay, so the actress who plays Rice, her name is Nicole Tom. And like we said, she was on The Nanny. And then Ted, the middle child, who's a boy,
Yeah.
Christopher Castile is the actor. Did you recognize him?
he seems so familiar, but I did not place him.
Did you ever watch the show Step by Step?
Yes, yeah.
He's
That's
Mark, Suzanne Summers'
Yeah.
son in that show. Yeah. But he wasn't like, that's it. I don't know what else he went on to do.
Yeah, that show was on the TGIF lineup, which was another, as a family, we watched TGIF.
On Friday nights.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
That's what you did. You know what? I'm going to sound this like an old person, but I miss those days. We've lost something, Katie.
I agree. And I am the old person. Like, I don't have kids, so nobody is here to keep me young and hip.
Like, I'm with it. I'm hip.
Yeah. And I don't care. I feel like I was born a grumpy old man. Like, I've always been kind of a grumpy old man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like I'm, like, now that I'm 40, I'm like, I feel more in my own skin now. I don't think I was ever meant to be like a 21-year-old.
No. Yeah, I've always also, like, thinking about Bonnie Hunt, and I feel bad because it's not like she was, like, wrinkly or anything. It was just, again, I think she just came across older for some reason than 29.
Yeah, I would have pegged her closer to 40.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm like that. Like, I always look older. I don't know. I always present older than I am. When I was 25, people probably thought I was 35, you know?
Oh, okay, yeah. So did you, like, buy liquor for your friends when you were young?
No, because I didn't, but I bought cigarettes. I could buy cigarettes. They bought me as an 18-year-old when I was 15, but that's...
Oh, I forgot because you guys is drink age 21 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys, it's 18, eh?
Here... In Alberta, it is. Some places in Canada, it's 19.
The little daughter, Sarah Rose Carr, plays Emily, the youngest daughter.
Yeah.
She has a very specific look about her.
Right.
Right? I feel like I remembered her from this vaguely. Or maybe it was from Kindergarten Cop, because she was in Kindergarten Cop and Father of the Bride.
It's not a tumor.
And then Oliver Platt and Stanley Tucci, I did not recall them at all. They're the henchmen. David Duchovny is one of the shady, like, finance types. He and Patricia Heaton, they're, I guess, a couple. Because they have the same last name.
In the show.
In the movie, I guess. They have the same last name anyway.
Yeah.
So Patricia Heaton is... Obviously, I mean, I don't know. You've seen Everybody Loves Raymond, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So she's in that. And then The Middle, which I really like. The show The Middle. I kind of like that show.
I liked them as villains, even though their villain character was so stupid. Like,
so stupid.
Like, big city people aren't like that.
But in these kind of movies, they always are.
Yeah.
They always are. Like, the childless career woman in a lot of these movies is like a villain.
But they're invited for a barbecue. You're like, a barbecue. How quaint. I'm like, no one would say that.
Also, David Duchovny, I remember him being like the late 80s, early 90s douchebag type character like this. Like, he was he seems like that guy. Like, he also played a very similar character in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And I thought I misrecalled that he was Todd in, like, with Margot and Todd in Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
He's not. But it seems like one of those things. When I looked it up, I don't know. This is just wild. It's like a communal misremembrance because all over the internet, other people thought the same thing. And it's
like
not
the Mandela
him.
effect. You know who is in Christmas Vacation? John Galecki, or like he played.
Oh, Johnny Galecki?
Yeah, he played Leonard in Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
He's the son in that movie.
Yeah, he is.
It's weird, like, how many people, like, they have childhood roles you don't think about.
And then you go back and you're like, oh, he's he's David from Roseanne to me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that Big Bang Theory and Roseanne, that's like the same guy, right? Who did those? Who directed those?
I think it was like Marcy Carsey. No.
Chuck Lorre? Yeah,
I don't know if that was
are they both
Roseanne
Chuck
or
Lorre
not.
things?
He did Big Bang Theory, Chuck Lorre.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you're
so.
right.
I think he also did Roseanne. I think they had the actress who played Darlene in Roseanne. She's also
On Big
in,
Bang.
Yeah. It kind of has the same vibe a little
Actually,
bit.
he probably wasn't as big of a deal on Roseanne because it was
No.
just so much further in the past.
Yeah, he was
But
like
yeah.
his
But
character
yeah, I think he was
like,
involved in it. Yeah, I
yeah.
think you're right.
It happens occasionally, Me being right. It does happen occasionally. A broken clock is right twice a day.
This is true. I was going to talk about Randy Edelman, who did the music for this, because we talked about him in the Tall Tale episode, which actually Oliver Platt is also in that. Anyway, yeah, he did the music for Tall Tale with Patrick in '95, as well as the theme for MacGyver, Randy Edelman, and Twins, Ghostbusters 2, and Kindergarten Cop. So he's got kind of a genre, right?
Yeah. Okay, so music-wise, too, I showed my daughter the trailer for the movie to see if she would be willing to watch it.
I was going to ask what she thought about it.
I was going to ask if she could be on the pod for 5 minutes to talk about it, but she's not here right now. She's at her grandma's house, or else I would have asked you. She didn't mind it. It was like not her, like, different generation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
when you show this to people, she'll be like, But she loves dogs. Not only does she love our dog, but she loves other dogs, and she has like lots of dog stuffies. Like, she's really into dogs in general. So that's the hook I use for this movie. But I was gonna say, when I showed her the trailer, there's like this certain guitar riff that happens that I feel like is in every 90s family movie trailer.
Yeah.
Like when there's a kind of the ramp up to what the movie's about. And I'm just like, Jesus, what is this? Why does everyone have to play this? I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like this is in every fucking trailer back then.
You're right. And there are certain things, like there's a formula to this type of a movie. From the opening to the world building to the music. Yeah, it's very formulaic. I guess there were a lot of good things about it. Like the actors were really good. I thought all of the actors were good. The dog was great. There were like 12 stand-ins for him, but his name was Chris. The dog's name, Chris.
What?
Beethoven is Chris.
That's weird when you have, okay, I've done this. I've had this sin with a dog before, but like giving dogs human names. I had a dog named Marty. I remember I was at work and I talked to this guy. His name was Marty. I'm like, hey, my dog's named Marty. He's like, why did you give your dog a human name? I'm like,
So there's some names like that can kind of go either way. But then there's like, what are you going to name your dog? Like Keith?
Here, Dave. Come here, boy.
Yeah. There's certain names that seem a little too human, and it would be weird to name your dog that. Like Chris.
Yeah, remember,
who names their dog Chris?
We had a repair guy at our house, and my dog Marty was doing something stupid, and my mom was like, Marty, stop that. And this guy looked over, and like, his name was Marty.
Like Kyle or Katie would be weird dog names, right?
Well, they're weird names in
too
general
human.
now. Not weird names, but like, no one names their kids Kyle, or maybe Katie a little bit, but no one names their son Kyle nowadays. Very few people. Like, it's becoming an old person name. Katie is on its way. I think Katie has a little more, I think Kyle's a little more flash in the pan.
Yes, that's the perfect. Katie's more like traditional.
Yeah. Because your full name's Catherine, right?
No, it's Katie.
Is it really? On your birth certificate, Katie? Okay, cool.
Do you know, my last name's a little long, so I think,
Fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like Katie or Catherine will come and go, but it will always be there. I feel like Kyle has always existed to a degree, not always, but like basically shot up in the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yes.
And there's done. It's
like
all like
Ethan. It's like in that same vein. Like it's like a cool, edgy name, kind of.
I think Kyle is like an internet you call someone. It's like kind of like a fuck boy who drinks like Monsters and has like a Dodge Ram. It's not good.
Oh, I thought you were
Kyle.
thinking of like Chad, a Chad or
Yeah, well, that's
you know,
like the new thing now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chad. I think Chad is kind of not a bad thing necessarily. Incels will not like a Chad, but like a Chad is like a Chad gets laid, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm fine with my name. I don't care if people make fun of it, but yeah, it's not like no one's naming their kid Kyle, and I'm cool with that.
Might I suggest Rice?
Who doesn't like rice?
It's not spelled like that though. It's with a Y. It's like
I
Bryce.
just
It's like
assumed it was-
Bryce.
It's like Bryce with an R.
Mhm.
I actually am against naming your kids weird names, especially I'm really into conventional spelling for names
Same.
because it's like, don't make your fucking kid have to spell their name out to everyone for the rest of their life.
If
Like,
you're
I
going
have
to name your
spell my
kid
last-
Ashley, do
Yeah.
not spell it with an Leigh.
Yeah. Or even, this is more controversial, don't spell Jeff Geoff. Don't
That's like
fucking do that.
Joffrey. It's like
Yeah,
it's
if
like
you're, you could do it, but if
yeah,
you're
I was
over
just gonna say
here,
English.
no,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Mhm.
Or there's Utah's really bad for this.
Oh.
Like they'll find like really just stupid ways to spell the most normal names. I'm almost tempted to look up a few, but it's like Ashley would be like Ashlee. It's like Mackenzie, it'd be like Makensseigh or something like.
Mackenzie is one that people, if you're going to name there's a certain type of person that names their kid Mackenzie, first of all, and then they always spell it a little weird, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I have to spell my last name to people because it's a slightly different spelling. And like I've accepted it. It's just what I do. But thank God there are other spellings of Kyle, but mine's like by far the most common one. If you do Keil or Kiel, I've seen that a couple times.
Keel?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But in my work, there's like 110 people in my office. There is a Kyle, a Kyla, and a Kylie.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never felt, but like growing up, there was always another Kyle in my class. But yeah, anyway, we digress. But yeah, Rice, don't
this
name your
has
kid
been
Rice.
names.
Yeah.
Fun with names. Fun
Naming
with
your kid
flags.
Rice is a bad idea. And if you're going to do it, spell it RICE. Don't be a fucking asshole and make them explain both their weird name and the weird spelling of their weird name.
Agreed. Yeah, let's see. Oh, 90s things. There was just like so many formulaic stuff from the 90s, which I kind of loved because it was like a time capsule. But Dobermans as like mean, vicious dogs.
Junkyard dogs, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Loved that.
Yeah, I just the 90s, just cheesy movie in general.
Yes.
I'm like, the 90s.
The 90s.
Maybe it's funny how as different as it looked, it wasn't that different.
True.
Like that house could be a house today. Other than maybe some technology differences. But, in general, like
The
that house
decor
was-
wasn't like awful, like screaming 90s at you. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like the cars looked a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But, and like clothes are a little bit, it wasn't that different though. Like it's, we've talked about this on the other show, but it's like, there's something about, I don't know why, but like between the 70s and the 90s seems like a long time. Maybe because I wasn't there for it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the style in 1972 versus 1992, or let's go back 33 years from 1992. So like 1969 would look way fucking different from 1992. And it does look different from 1992 to now, but the difference isn't nearly as big. I feel like if I showed up looking like this in 1992, no one would say shit.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They'd be like, cool name, Kyle.
Such a stylish name. I remember when I saw Terminator and the character was Kyle Reese, and I was like, I've never seen a Kyle in film. It was like, you don't see a lot of Kyles in film, but
You don't. Yeah, you're right. Interesting. You see
we
a lot
got
of
laid
Max.
as we do.
Yeah.
It's a kind of our thing. Just saying.
There was one thing that I was not expecting to happen that I enjoyed. But before that, at the end, when the bad guys get caught, right? That of course is going to
Yes.
happen. It's a happy ending.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. And they free all the dogs in the cages. Was it just me or were you screaming at the TV? What are you doing? Can we do this in an orderly fashion so we can find their owners? You're just creating a bunch of stray animals.
Just the okay, haven't you ever heard these stories about a family pet that gets lost on a road trip vacation and they somehow
Homeward bound
go
it?
like 700 miles to your house? I think the movie producers, well, this will just happen with all these pets here. They're
They'll
probably
just
from the same
find their
town.
way home. No cars will hit them. No other shady characters will pick them up and try and sell them for some purposes that are not good, like bait dogs and stuff. So yeah, that drove me insane. And then at the end, when they're like, "Good night, Beethoven." So now they love Beethoven and he gets to sleep in their room with them. I can't remember if he was on the bed or not. Was Beethoven on the bed with them?
Oh, I can't remember. But yeah,
At
he
any
was in
rate.
that little doghouse that I'm like, how does he fit in that thing?
Oh, well, so then they're like, good night, Beethoven. And then I thought, oh, for sure. Then they're going to, it's not over yet. And I'm like, oh, they adopted the little Jack Russell dog that was kind of his little sidekick this whole
Oh,
time.
yes. All the
That I
dogs
was-
live with them. Yeah.
I was not expecting all of those dogs. I guess that's where they all went. Oh, I didn't
As they
even
do.
realize that. They
don't
adopted all
tattoo
those
the
dogs.
ears. I don't know if they had microchips in the early 90s. They did in the late 90s. I know in 1998, microchips for dogs was common because we microchipped our dog in 1998. But there is identification. They do, dogs are marked. Like, are your dogs chipped?
Yeah.
I assume they are. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in 92, I don't know if they would be. But
You
still,
have
I
the
mean, you
ear
could find
tattoo.
their. Yeah.
Because I remember, the more expensive option was chipping. But otherwise, when they get neutered or whatever, while they're down anyways, they just tattoo their ear while they're asleep.
Oh, okay.
Like just the inside of their ear.
Mhm.
So you wouldn't notice it otherwise.
I had heard of people like high society types that are like care about the bloodlines and stuff. Like there's like a specific tattoo for the
Oh, sure.
whatever bloodline.
Yeah, that's like
is-
huge business. Like, certain dog breeding and
Mm-hmm.
bloodlines and just adopt your local mutt from your animal shelter.
Exactly.
Because they love you
Exactly.
just as much as a purebred, and purebred dogs have many physical deficiencies because you're not supposed to inbreed them like that.
They are. Your dog will be far healthier. But I would also like to say, even if you want a purebred dog, something like 40% of dogs in shelters are purebred. Plus, there is a dog rescue for every breed out there. I have bloodhounds, and they're both rescues.
They're
And
cheaper at the
Bubble was
shelter
even a baby
anyways.
when I got her, but from a rescue. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like rescues are cheaper and more ethical.
Mhm.
Like what's the downside?
Well, they're not always cheaper, but they
depends.
will already come spayed or neutered. So there's that.
Yeah. I know for cats here, they just give them away. Like they can't, you don't have to pay for a cat here.
Well, because there's so gosh darn many of them. But
Yeah,
they should
exactly.
charge
Dogs,
something to weed out. People will do horrible things. That is a business that people will go and take all the free animals and use them for either food for their snake, if it's a kitten, or
kittens, really?
yeah, because
That's
it's like
fucking nuts. I know people do it with mice and stuff like that.
yeah, or dog fighting bait, or various things. Like people are sick, so
People are. There's a lot of fucked up people.
there
Katie.
really are. Also, don't ever let your pets outside unattended because they do actually get stolen for those same types of purposes. Anyway, that's my PSA for you all. Be careful. People are
Watch
bad.
after your goddamn pets, people.
Yeah, keep an eye on them. And yeah, so I guess I didn't even think of that. All those dogs. But either way, they're out loose now. You got to wrangle them somehow.
How do they get them home?
Yeah.
What do you can't it's just you know what, I'm okay with all the dogs being there because it's so stupid at this point. Like my will is just broken. I also love how that guy, the main villain, the vet, got a dozen syringes to the chest.
Yeah, they were like giant, like cartoonish looking, fluid filled.
And so my wife works in the medical field, and she thought it was funny that all of the syringes are like up like this. Pointed upwards. She's like, who would do that?
Oh, so many things not quite right. I did see, so Dr. Varnick, who we didn't talk about, he's actually played by Dean Jones, and he's a singer more so than an actor and has won awards for it. But they considered the dad from Alf to play him. Max
I got
Wright.
a kick out of his glasses.
Dr. Varnick?
Yeah, he had like really strong prescription glasses where like his eyes were magnified. It
Like
kind of
Goku,
reminds me of Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's a bias against glasses, though. I think they did that for a reason.
Well, he was supposed to be, veterinarian. They're like nerdy scientists.
Yes.
I don't know.
The worse your vision is, the smarter you are. That is how that works, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Well, I must be brilliant then, because I can't see for shit.
What's your prescription?
I don't have one. I had LASIK done twice.
Oh, okay.
But I like now, and so the older you get, they're like, well, you'll need reading glasses. I'm like, no, I need glasses. I can't see.
Yeah,
still far away.
There was a one in my office that got LASIK at 40, and she's 51 now, and she wears glasses.
I've never had 20/20, even with LASIK.
Did you ever use contacts?
Yeah.
I hated them. I should have one time.
I wore them for like 20 years. From like 6th grade on, I think. There's like a ton of casting what ifs. Essentially, like every famous actor in the approximate age range for both George and Alice. So I didn't really think that was that interesting.
I was just thinking of I think Ed O'Neill would have been funniest to dad.
Did you see that he was one of them considered?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Beethoven really, I think, had probably one of the shakiest plots that I've ever seen in a movie, ever.
Yeah, ever. Not just like 90s family movies, but yeah, one of the dumbest plots. Now, I haven't seen Battlefield Earth.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, I think actually it's rated the worst movie of all time. But it was funded and written kind of by John Travolta. But it's based off a L. Ron Hubbard.
Yes. And I've heard of
it
now.
This thing was just shoehorned in there to promote Scientology. And it's the dumbest fucking movie, so people say. I actually kind of want to watch it, just like to hate watch it. Suggestion, Katie, you don't have to do Battlefield Earth.
So it's just like a propaganda movie? Or
I don't know. It was based on a book written by L. Ron Hubbard where it's like the year 3000 and these aliens kind of run Earth instead of humans, and they're like resisting against them, which doesn't sound horrible. Like that's, but L. Ron Hubbard was a nut job, and I think a lot of his books sucked. So, and this apparently was one of them. Like had not John Travolta funded it so much, I think no one would have invested in it.
Now that you brought that, I have heard of it. I don't know if I want to waste 2 hours on something like that.
But anyways, so this is Battlefield Earth might be a contender for worst plot, perhaps, but this was one of the stupidest plots. Just the family as a dog. That's all you need.
I love a giant breed dog. Like, I have bloodhounds now. I've had 3 Great Danes. I had a Mastiff mix. I love a big dog. But man, not even that could rescue this movie for me. It's just like a chaotic mix of nonsense shoved together. And it's almost like they tried to make the plot convoluted and not make sense. Like, you couldn't make it that bad if you tried. So I don't know. I do not blame John Hughes for not wanting to put his real name on this. But
I feel like the villains in that was put in at the end. Like, I feel like they just had this family, like they knew they would have to have a villain. So they wrote it with that in mind. But I think they're like, okay, we need to come up with something. Like, it was an afterthought.
But there were 2. Like, there was even like a B plot. There was like secondary villains.
Yeah, but it's like the villains are just, I think they're there because you're supposed to have them.
Yeah.
Even though they're not needed, but it's like, as you were talking about how like formulaic these 90s family movies are. You have to have a villain. I understand that you have to have conflict, you have to have a challenge to overcome, but that can come from within in the family. It doesn't have to come from Glasses McShithead, which if you want to like, it's a trademark name, but like if you really want to go with a plot where they're going to kill the dog or destroy the dog, do this. Big corporation want to do testing on animals. Say it's like some European makeup company or some bullshit like that. Make them the corporate henchmen. What's wrong with that? You could do that. That's believable. Small town vet doing munitions testing is like, what drug were you doing when you came up with that?
And I guess we have to seek out the big dog, like biggest dog. Also, they not only want to keep Beethoven overnight for observation after some just like annual shots. Not only that, but then there is an unannounced house call from the veterinarian to follow up about vaccines. Like it's I don't know, man. But at least Beethoven was cute in all stages. Beethoven was a cute dog. Kyle, thank you so much for joining me on season 2 and living through Beethoven, because I remembered it very differently than rewatching it the other day. What are your closing thoughts?
I paid $5 to rent that off Prime, and I don't feel bad.
Okay.
You know what? It was, even though the movie had a stupid plot, it brought back some memories. It brought some nostalgia for me. It was an excuse for my family to get together. And I think that's what a lot of these movies were for. And for that reason, I'm okay with it. For its time and for its place, it was good enough. It could have been better. They definitely could have made some things better, but it got the job done. The box office showed that it got the job done. It is what it is, and I'm willing to just accept. It's all good.
I concur. Well, you guys, if you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, even though we poked a lot of holes in it, share the show, write a quick review, or you can just say hi. I'm all ears. And until next time, be kind, rewind.